God. All right. You let me see that.
And Chuckie and I coordinated our shoes.
Yes. You want me to tell you something?
I love your shoes.
I have a jacket I got that's all gold.
What?
And I was going to wear it just for you.
That would have been crazy.
But I'm glad I didn't. Because as I told you, I said, yeah, it's too, I don't know. I don't want to show up in my jackets. I don't know, because you're wearing gold, so you should look. I just wear silver.
I love it. Love it.
Listen, tell us. I was looking at your IMDb. Anybody know what IMDb is? Yeah. What's IMDb? Sorry, say that louder.
IMDb is Internet Movie Database.
International Movie Database. And so basically, shows all the movies she's been in. You can look her up on IMDb. Look up Lee Benton. You can see all the shows she's been in. One I caught at the bottom was she was in Scarface. She made an appearance in Scarface. I'm like, oh, Scarface, that's like classic. That's why I was like, earlier you weren't here. We had a contest and that was one of the lines. Let's say hello to my little friend. That one line, and nobody got it. Oh, a couple of them got it. They just couldn't remember who it was. Somebody said. So, but since then you've done shows. You did. I was reading the whole thing. You've done so many television shows, and then you started being involved in some faith-based movies recently, and now you have your own show, which got an award. You have she got an award last year, excuse me, this year, a few months ago, for what?
We were nominated. My TV show is Victory Road with Lee Benton, and we've been on the air now about 5 years. And we were nominated for Best TV Show.
Wow.
But God blessed me with Best TV Host Award. So that kind of shocked me.
Yeah.
I was really wanting the whole show to take it, for Best TV Show. But it's really cool. I was sitting there, this is funny, I was sitting in the audience and I'm holding the award, and I go, and this is how I talk to God, he's my best friend, my daddy. And I go, Lord, I don't want to seem ungrateful. I'm really thankful for this award. I'm sitting there smiling.
Yeah.
But I'm talking in the inside to God. I'm going, thank you for this award. Why not Best TV Show? I was really planning on that. And they're like, why not? And he said, and I shut up and he answered back and he said, because this is more personal. This was for you.
Oh, wow.
Is that cool?
That's cool.
But, and I'm not saying that to be Miss Tutu and haughty pants. It was just God saying, this is for you personally. Right. He loves us that much that he does things just for us. Wow. So I was really just surprised that he answered back like that.
I'm going to go. I told you we were going to do this because the whole theme is inspire.
Yes.
Every guest here is here to inspire. You're here to inspire me, even all of us. We get inspired. I like getting around other people that inspire me. How many like to be around people that bring you down? No one does. No, it's like Debbie Downers. Okay, no. You want to be around other people that inspire you. In fact, I heard one time Mike Murdoch. You know who Mike Murdoch is, right?
Yes.
Mike Murdoch says he puts up pictures around his house that inspire him. And he went in one time, and one of his pictures was taken down because the secretary, one of his workers there, took it down because he thought, he wouldn't like it. He got upset, and he says, no, I want it back up. I want the picture back up. And she says, well, I thought you would want it down. No, I want it up on the wall. And he says, so I played this song. He goes, that's the way, I like it. And so he played it full blast through the house, and I was laughing when I heard this, because he says, I like to be inspired. And it's true. This event is about inspiring people. So in saying that, we've been talking about how we got started, what brought you out. So how did you get into, it didn't just happen, you just showed up and all of a sudden you're a Hollywood star and TV movies and all kind of,
a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
Literally. A brief outline, because we don't have 5 hours right now, maybe 10. But you want me just to give a brief outline?
Yeah.
I'll try to be really brief. Started my whole entire stage, thing. Got my first chops singing on stage as a gospel singer with my sister in Tampa, Florida. Gospel songs on stage. And it was at the local church, and then we would sing at other churches, and we started to get a little, notoriety, I guess.
Following and
A
all
little
that.
bit,
Yeah.
just a little bit. And we were called the Benton sisters. And my father, I was telling your daddy,
Yeah.
who's a pastor, I said, I'm a PK. And he goes, I am too. It's so cool. And my father was an evangelist. And so, but I was a PK, AKA rebel with a cause.
I don't know what that's like. I have no idea.
Not you, Chucky.
No.
And so, anyway, my sister was the good one, and I was the other.
That's like me. I was the good one. My sister's gone already. She
Oh,
was
really?
not the
And
good
your
one.
sister was the other?
Yeah.
And so, anyway, I got into the modeling career, and of course, my father, being an evangelist, thought it was the worst thing ever. And he always thought, oh my gosh, what's happening to my good daughter? They were very protective. And so I just kind of stretched my wings, started modeling, and I kind of like did it kind of as a challenge. And before you know it, I started just getting booked and started doing a lot of TV commercials and
Wow.
and modeling. They're called tear sheets, magazine ads, and all kinds of great things.
Were you still serving God through this, or?
I was. And see, I started modeling when I was 18. So I was starting to just get my rebel chops.
I started to model when I
the
was.
rebel.
We'll talk about my modeling career later.
You too? I knew you would. I thought you did a few mags with me. but-
Donut shop modeling.
Of course, because you're much older than me, right? But anyway, so from the modeling career, did about 10 good years of great modeling from Florida all the way up to the East Coast. And so then through the modeling, I remember when it happened. I had, like Isaac Hernandez was saying, he remembered exactly when he got this epiphany, like, this is what I want to do. I mean, my whole life, I played dress up, get in my mother's clothes, wear her heels, get into all of her makeup, even though she said, cut it out, don't do that, I still did it. So I was, I really believe that God plants your passion in you when you're young, who you're supposed to be. And so that kind of like was the pre-modeling career. And then, so after the 10 years of that,
Who gave you the big break? I mean, who's the one that you
well,
said?
I started doing 2 movies, and I did my first 2 films in Florida, in Tampa, Florida. And this director, he was from Hollywood, and it was a real B- film where I got my head chopped off, one of those fun movies. And so anyway, a really gross movie. And so he said, you would be great in Hollywood. And he hooked me up with this agent in Hollywood. And cut to the chase, my agent sent me a letter on my birthday. I kind of thought it was a joke. And I got a letter stating, I want to sign you with my agency in Hollywood. So come out and meet with me. And it was for real. And I went out, and that was in the end of 1981. Went to see her.
What made it
and
real?
then signed the contract in 82.
I don't want to interrupt you too much, but what made it real to you? Because if you get let, because some people go and you've got a look about you, and you find out they're bogus and they just want money from you.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that happen to even Christians, where they go and they spend money on their kids and all that,
Yeah.
dump all this money,
Yes, all
and it's
baloney.
baloney. What made you know it was real?
Well, I thought I could at least just take a trip to Hollywood and meet her and just see if she's full of baloney or if she's for real, and what do I have to lose? Just check out Hollywood, right? And she was on Sunset Boulevard, any of you who are familiar with Hollywood, and I remember walking outside going, oh my gosh, that means I have to move here. She talked me into signing a 2-year contract with her. Not 1 year, 2 years. She was slick. And she honestly started working real hard and pushing me. She was one of these old Hollywood, you gotta see this kid. She's great. You gotta see her. I mean, literally. And people would see me, Universal, she'd start pushing me everywhere. And I started working immediately the first year that I was there. And so, the first year I was there was was that in 82 or 83, Scarface. I think it was my first year there. But it was one of the smallest roles I've ever done. And I worked 2 weeks on that with Steve. I was Stephen Bauer's love interest in the Little Babylon Club.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, they chopped out all the dialogue. And to this day, I still get residuals for Scarface.
Wow.
I find it it's fun. It's kind of like Christmas, you know, in the mailbox. But anyway, but the real breakout role was the second year in Hollywood in '83, when God blessed me with a regular role on a TV series called Nikki Spillane's Mike Hammer.
Oh, Mike Hammer.
Mike Hammer was Stacy Keach. Does anybody remember that?
Yeah.
And he played the detective, and I played Jenny, the bartender. Which I thought, again, my father would have a heart attack, freak attack, everything. Oh my gosh, what's the church going to say? My daughter's playing a bartender. And I told him it was just pretend.
What would you say? I'm just curious. Now we're going. I don't want to go too far out. About roles that you would advise some people to play or not to play.
Good subject, because that's what I'd love to talk about. I've never once in modeling or in the acting career had to compromise, not one time. So I read, which one is the camera on? Should I talk? All of them are on us? Hi, everyone. This one? I would like to advise everybody out there who's even thinking about going into modeling or acting, please, please, please hold on to your morals. Yeah. Hold on to your principles. Yeah. Do not let any producer, director, any casting director, no one talk you into stripping for a part. Don't let anybody do that, because you don't have to. You do not have to do that. You don't have to compromise. And my answer, and I've lost, yes, I've lost many roles, even to this day, at this ripe age of, 25? I've lost track, 25 or 26. People are still, it's like the devil's still trying to come at me going, just do a little nudity, because I train, I've been working out, I do kickboxing, so everybody wants to see you stripped down, but it's just, it's really the devil, it's the enemy going, just try this, and look at all of this you could have, and it's never worth it, because guess who trumps everything that the enemy has to offer?
Come on.
Yeah. What God has to offer is far greater
Yes.
than any popularity and any other movies.
Yes.
So anyway, I just encourage you, never ever go against your morals, your principles. And if you were not raised with any, particular religion or morals, still get a hold of yourself and do a check on it. Because once you do a semi-nude, nude scene, partial nude, even in the shower behind a fuzzy glass, even if you have a body double, people have even tried to get me to do, well, we will get you a body double. And I go, no way. Because if they think it's me, and it's my body double, it's still what? The lost testimony. So just don't go there, because they will start requiring you to do that. Have you noticed when an actor starts deciding, I'll do a nude role just this time, from that, it sets a mark right there, it sets a bar. And yes, thank you, people will continue to ask you to do nudity, and the producers will continue. Hollywood is not cool enough to let that slide. They'll start using you every time more and more, and they'll say, if you want to work, you need to just take off your top. If you want to work, show a little bit. So don't even start it to start with, because I'm very proud of great roles that the Lord has given me without that nonsense.
Let me ask you, I don't want to get too far, but you got moved right now. Were you moved because there was a lot going on? Is there some reason why? Right now you just got moved.
Yeah.
Did you have to, you turned down a lot, and you look like, obviously you have no regrets, but you look at maybe the grace of God who's covering this.
Daddy God, every time I talk about the Father, I just get moved.
Yes.
God the Father, God the Son,
Yes.
and God the Holy Spirit. That's what I'm all about.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the evangelist in
Yeah.
We're preaching now.
Yes, don't get me doing church
It was
now.
so sweet. I said, hey, listen, I would like to give you a formal introduction. I probably messed that up too. But I said, okay, Hollywood, I know you're from Hollywood, actress, and she went, evangelist.
No,
And
my
I-
assistant did
no,
that.
No, on the phone you told me.
Oh.
Yeah, you told me an evangelist. I said, you were mad. You just said an evangelist. I said, okay. An
Oh, I
no,
had to throw that
but
in.
you know what? I didn't take it in. I took it in on, wow, that's cool. You're not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
That's my
And
favorite Bible
that's
verse.
it. And
Yes.
so when you say that, it's like, that's right. You know, when sometimes we find the church trying to come up with, church folk trying to get more worldly,
Yeah.
and we say we wanted to relate. And so we try to get away from
Yeah, they down it down.
or get away from using
Yeah.
a title. I'm an artist who, happens to be a Christian. And
Yeah.
You're a Christian and you have gifts. That's it. So, you got to take a stand sometimes. So I don't like that, and I praise God for you. You're in the thick of it. You're giving us, you have this Bible study. Can anybody come to that?
Anybody, and I
Okay.
would love everybody to come. May I invite everybody?
Yeah, sure. One of these days you got to invite me to come out. I told you I'd come out there.
I
Sing
would
or
just
something,
be blessed if you would come.
Yeah. She does it. You do it in where?
Yes, I've been teaching. I got ordained. I honestly, I don't like the titles of, all of these reverend. It's just me. I just am a servant of God. But I found out in order to officiate weddings and give baby dedications and all of these things, I had to be ordained as a pastor. So that's why I became ordained. But the Lord opened up the doors at CBS Studios in 2012. And CBS Studios allowed me to teach the word right there on the lot for 6 years at CBS. Wow. What a blessing. That is a blessing. Yes. And then just this year, in January, we moved to a beautiful, almost a 300-seat theater in Hollywood, where we hold service. And I welcome everyone to come. You can always see the schedule and more information on my website. Is my website going to be up, or shall I just?
No, you can say it.
Okay, you can always find our schedule at Benton. .org, leebenton.org. It will have our schedule. But we are usually the second Sunday of every month. It's only once a month in Hollywood. But sometimes the theater is like 2 months, they're booked. So like coming up in December, we are actually the last Sunday of the month. We'll be December 29th if anybody wants to come out. But it's usually the second Sunday of every month at 6.
Now I want to do something really cool. Isaac's over there. Isaac's our buddy.
Yes,
Isaac, come here.
I love Isaac.
I want you to sit here.
Isaac
We didn't do a Q&A, and I did for a reason, because we do a Q&A with you two together. So if you have any questions right now, anybody have any questions for TV? For TV, you can ask either one of them, actually.
Yes.
About TV, or film, or Hollywood, or movies, or so on, for Lee, or for Isaac. You sit here.
Good, you got it up.
And you take the mic.
Yes, Isaac Hernandez, he's my brother from another mother. Yes, this man is the one that helped usher me into Uplift TV.
So anybody have any questions? Raise your hand. We'll go as fast as we can, real short and right to the point. You gotta turn the mic, turn it on.
I want both of you guys' opinions. You guys are in the film industry. What do you guys personally consider to be some of the greatest scenes in movie history?
I'm sorry, say that again?
What do you guys consider, in your opinion, to be some of the greatest scenes or influential scenes in movie history?
Do you want to take that one?
Well, and again, my specialty, if you will, is Christian movies. I love all movies. I mean, I love going to movies. But I'm going to throw you one that's probably one of the most influential scenes in Christian movie, and that was, in fact, in Facing the Giants. And that was a scene, it's called the death crawl, where the coach tells the guy to, he puts on a headband on him so he can't see, and he tells him, I just need you to crawl 10 yards. And he just keeps pushing him and pushing him. And the guy goes the entire length of the football field. That was a very
I
inspiring
didn't see
scene.
that.
Oh,
What's the
yes.
name of it?
Facing the Giants.
Facing the Giants.
Crawl
Gosh,
all the
there's
way.
so many. I
Somebody else? Right.
have to have a minute to think about it. That was good, Isaac, to pull that out.
I was just wondering, what would you guys say is, back here, the hardest aspect of getting into the film industry?
As a Christian, as a believer, or just period?
In general.
It's truly, because you really do have to have an agent. You can't just jump into Hollywood and go, hey, I'm here. You have to have representation. You have to either have a personal manager or an agent to book you, to get you into the doors so that you can be seen. And so that would be the number one thing to do is, for me, it was easy back in the day because that's when an agent sent for me, but that was just a miracle. It really usually never happens that way. I mean, you really need to just, I would say, hone in on your craft, study, start doing maybe some plays to really get your chops, and then present, something, a scene reel to an agent. You can call Screen Actors Guild or email them, SAG, Screen Actors Guild, and they can give you a list. They have a list of all the agents and some of the top personal managers in Hollywood, and start going down the list and say, because you could just show up, and now they'll have you thrown out and you just show up at their door. So you do need to make appointments and start sending headshots to them, with your desires to do film, TV. That was the hardest for me, is, for most people to get seen, to get representation. Do you have an answer for that?
The hardest thing for me as a producer now is to find the money.
Yes.
once I
Raising
find the
the
money,
funds.
the rest is fairly easy.
To produce.
Show me the money.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hi. What has been your greatest lesson?
You go first.
Gosh, you guys are giving us tough questions. This is good. Hardest lesson. I've got it. It's real simple. I'm gonna try not to cry. Going into Hollywood thinking I was all that, and far, far away from the Lord. The hardest lesson is that I was not getting all of these films and TV shows because I was so hot. It was because he was so hot. Because I had parents on their knees praying for me and a sister covering me. So the hardest lesson, I think, to learn is that I couldn't do this thing by myself. I needed him.
It's good.
And so, I don't know, that was a lesson that this rebel had to learn, that, hey,
That's a good lesson.
it's all about Jesus.
One more question.
Hello, I just wanted to ask a question. If, I'm sure maybe in your career you've seen maybe stars that, they get treated with some type of respect because of their work and their talent and what they do, but do they really honor requests, like when they say, let's say they say, oh, I want so-and-so to come by, today or something like that. Do they really honor those requests? Like, oh, get them on the horn and see if they'll come by just to maybe give her some support today or something like that for him.
I don't know.
I didn't understand that. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Do they honor what request?
Honor actresses or actors' requests for, maybe a certain actor or a musician or anything to come by, maybe to give them some moral support or to get them on the phone to maybe give them some support. I don't know, maybe they talk to each other.
You mean from an up-and-coming actor?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. As a guest, to come in and speak to a group or something, to come by and meet people.
That's not what I meant, but.
I'm sorry. I didn't get the question.
I think she meant it's an up.
Talking about how flaky people are. They'll say, "Let's do lunch." Is that what you meant?
Yeah,
Come by.
Yeah.
Come on by.
Yeah, if someone maybe they were getting shaky, to do this role or to go on screen,
So they support each other.
Yeah, exactly.
I think actually, to be honest with you, and I know you guys look at actors and you look at them and what they're doing and you think that they're these extroverted people. To be honest with you, most actors are very introverted.
Yes.
They're fine when the lights go on,
Yeah.
and when the lights go off, suddenly they shrink up into this little
A lot
shell
of them do.
and hard
Not
to
me. I'm just Miss Big Mouth all the time, on the set and off the set. But a lot of actors
they're
are
very
quiet
introverted.
and withdrawn.
Yeah.
But you're right. You put a mic or a light on them, and they just totally light up.
Oh, you got one more. Okay, I'll get one more. Rosie, get her exercise.
Go, Rosie.
well, you mentioned funding as being one of the hardest things. So I know you got some secrets. What kind of pointers will you make as far as people trying to get some funding for maybe a low budget film? Do you like Kickstarter or any kind of, do you recommend any kind of sites that they go to help get funding?
Well, actually, normally I've looked at the crowdfunding stuff, and most people just don't succeed at it. They'll put it on and they won't really raise it. But things are changing a little bit. But probably one of the greatest stories now on that is I don't know if you all are familiar with a guy named Dallas Jenkins. He's the son of the Jenkins that wrote the Left Behind series books. He recently did he came to me and wanted to get funding for a series that he wanted to do on Jesus. It's called The Chosen. And of course, we just couldn't do it. We weren't in a position to do that. But I'm glad that we weren't, because he went on to do a crowdfunding campaign, and he has been the biggest success of a crowdfunding campaign ever. He raised $10 million through crowdfunding. So do I recommend it? You know what? I recommend whatever way you can to give money. I mean, for low budget films, the first thing is maybe go to people you know, whether it be friends, family, and see what you can do with raising there. Crowdfunding would be a good one. If you know any wealthy people, go ahead and hit them up. Doctors are very good for some reason, doctors are very good at funding independent films.
Or they could also call Chuckie Perez, right?
Now listen, I don't have money. I'll be honest with you, I don't have money. But you know what I do have, and this is how I get my name as executive producer. Somebody was asking about that earlier. I get my name as executive producer on several films, is I connect them sometimes with people that do. I can't guarantee, I can't promise, but I say, let me see what I can do, and I'll connect them. Suddenly the movie's being made, and I got an executive producer credit. And it's all about relationship building. So again, the pastor's heart. Pastor, I see the need, and I say, man, let me help you in whatever way I can. And if I can't, I'm sorry, I can only do what I can do. But then I follow on, to somebody who hopefully can.
Amen. Yeah.
All right, listen, give it up for Lee Benton. And she's so sweet. You've already been taking his DVDs. You can take all those DVDs and you can give them away.
Oh, that reminds me.
And then
I brought pictures.
She's got pictures, and she'll go
for
autograph
free.
pictures.
I
okay?
usually sell them at the autograph shows, but I'm giving them all away today.
She sells them all the time, but
they're for free today.
Today you can go.